I love, okay, I guess my vertical transition just decided not to work. Awesome! That was a very quick transition. Hi! Let me fix the music. I was not expecting that to just go, bleh. I broke my transition. I've broken a lot of things today, alright? There's lots broken. I don't know how to fix it. Honestly, I'm surprised I got this far as a VTuber. And I haven't just, like, exploded, you know? Honestly. But yes, hello every newbie! Hello, hello! We're gonna be talking Mushoku Tensei today because, well, I love Mushoku Tensei. Oh, where do I even begin? All in the name of Minecraft? I mean, I wish it was all in the name of Minecraft, but it's not even. It's alright. It's nobody's fault. It's my own fault. It's my own fault. I'm an idiot. I'm a goddamn idiot when it comes to technology. So, you know. So how is the music level? How we feeling about the music? How we feeling about the vibes? Oh yeah, Mushoku Rant. Oh yeah. So raise your hand here if you are unfamiliar with the glory that is Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation. It's alright if you've only seen the anime or you've only seen the light novels. You just caught up on the anime last week? Nice! How do you feel? Any hands raised will be bitten? Probably. I mean, it looks like no hands raised. So, we've got only the knowers here. Oh, you've seen a couple of episodes. Shame! 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 Watch all of it! I haven't watched the latest season, but I really like the show. Come on, man. That last episode? I know. I feel like I'm gonna just put this here now. Spoiler warning. You have been warned. Bakaryu. Yeah, I don't care. So if you're afraid of spoilers, get out, because I'm definitely gonna be talking spoilers. Accidentally spoiled it in Discord. Look, man, like, I didn't even know what was coming. I was not expecting that. I mean, like, I expected something bad to happen, and then I saw the red flags, and I was like, fuck. Bye, Spartan! I'm sorry that I will be discussing spoilers. I mean, you can stay for a little bit, unless he's already gone. I was gonna say, you can stay for a little bit, since I'm just gonna be talking about, like, the first season first, so. Hi! Hello, that's quite the name. That is quite the name you got there. Yeah, I'll tell you, you let me know when it's too far into spoiler territory. So, my favorite thing to do is always just summarize, like, whatever's happening and what I feel about the anime and everything. So, let me just take a swig of water. Hello, good morning. Good morning. And yeah, let us. I always say that, don't I? I always say lettuce instead of let us. Let us begin. Lettuce. It's funny how it's like lettuce, or like you sometimes you say it with a D, but sometimes you say it with a T. Lettuce. 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 That's how I pronounce lettuce. I pronounce lettuce like lead. Lettuce. Lettuce. That's silly. English or Spanish? I speak English. I know how to say bad words in Spanish and colors. That's about it, though. Lettuce. Basically, yeah. It is funny to find words that you just speak strange. It's honestly, it's just the American accent, unfortunately. I have an undescribable American accent. Although I've received morrows, and I've also just been told by other VTubers that my accent is kind of strange and that they don't really know where I'm from. And I think it's just because I over-enunciate my words a lot and I don't use too much slang. And because of that, I think a lot of people perceive me to be like a non-native speaker. Just because, I don't know. And I'm not like, hey guys, welcome to my stream. I'm Californian Blaze. How is everyone doing today? Let's get super lit up in this stream. GG skibbity toilet. Or whatever the fuck they say. I don't know, I'm too old for that shit. I don't understand the skibbity toilet shit. I've said this before, I don't understand it at all. Midwest has a very neutral accent. No, that's fair. I think, so here's the funny thing is I do have an accent from my area, but it's very, very subtle. And I don't think a lot of people will pick up on it unless they are also from the area, and then they're like, oh. It's like as soon as I point it out, that is when people kind of start to realize. My over-enunciated pronunciation is classic West Coast accent, also common among people who spend lots of time online. Are you calling me a Reddit lord? Y'all have to remember, I have only been chronically online for 3 years. An accent takes longer to develop than 3 years. I've been speaking like this for my entire life, and I should know I got made fun of for it. Man. How much do I weigh? Enough to satisfy your mom. Also, thank you for becoming a scholar to you, Joker! Thank you. When I met someone that says pop, I don't say pop. I definitely am like stove, oven, girly. Like I don't really use any fancy words. I think the only thing I sometimes say kind of strangely is pasta. Pasta. I don't know. I think I just have dumb accent. But sometimes, I mean, I also do, I would say I have 2 distinct accents. I have, do I pronounce it tomato or potato? Well, first of all, I pronounce it tomato instead of tomato, so. How do I say crayon? There's your answer, crayon. 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 Yeah, just throw weird words at me. See what I say. Tomato. Tomato. How quickly the stream has derailed just because I say things funny. Jaguar. Bologna. Caramel. I will admit I do frequently switch between caramel and caramel. It really depends on who I'm talking to. I'd say I more frequently divert to caramel. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Easy peasy. I've got a slight Midwestern tinge to my voice. Thank you. Where is Midwest? No, I would say that's accurate. I mean, I am Pacific Standard Time Zone, so you could kind of just guess from that. Khakis? Those who say Jaguar confuse me. Oh, Jaguar. Stadium. Car keys. Heard Midwest. It is in Midwest. That would make a lot of sense, actually. You know, it'd be crazy if the Midwest was in the Midwest. Alright, so I will tell you guys what the specific twinge I've noticed in my accent is. That a lot of people are like, oh, huh. You know, obviously, like, don't go fucking snooping. And if you do, keep it to your fucking self. I don't really care. It's whatever. But the thing that really is, like, and it might just be specific to the way that I speak, too. But Bologna is pronounced Bologna. Oh. Bologna. No, I say Bologna. I feel like that's also kind of wrong, but... Nuclear? Nuclear. I say nuclear. But specifically my voice, I have a very strong ah sound in my accent and in my voice. As soon as I point it out, you will notice how many times I have this slight like ah sound at like in everything that I say. It just has that sound. You've never heard someone pronounce Bologna like that? Am I pronouncing Bologna weird? I say nuclear, everyone. I'm good. Oh, great, great. Grew up on the West Coast, you don't have the long, drawn-out vowels I remember. Well, I guess it's because I just talk pretty quickly. But I mean, like, if I kind of slowed down, I guess my normal tone starts to sound kind of something more like this, which does give, like, a bit of drawn-outness. But I think that's just me, like, not talking 1,000 miles a minute. You know? Yeah. Are the spoilers anime only or the light novels too? I do know some stuff about the light novels, so I guess, like, you could consider it both, but mostly anime only, because I don't know too much about the light novels, other than, like, time travel shenanigans is all I know about. And, like, Rudius's many wives. It's just a weird spelling that no one realizes. It's the lunch meat bologna. Huh. Well, I mean, I always say Bologna. You picked up the elongated S? I don't have that. Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. I guess some people say Worcestershire sauce. I say Worcestershire. The light novel is crazy. One screenshot I saw. Look, man. Look, man. I wanted Rudius to have one wife, but this past week changed my mind. Look. Okay. Let's get into it. So, first and foremost, I literally was yapping at Miss Airy about this. About the multiple wives. And Mushoku Tensei. So, spoilers to those who do not know, but I guess, like, really you should just expect this from Rudius. He does wind up marrying 3 women. Sylphiette, I was about to say Eris, and, Roxy. And I think those are the only 3 that he marries. Yeah. Gray rat behavior. For real. There's a reason he's called they're called gray rats, you know? Why does tomato is pronounced as tomato instead of tomato? Because I don't know, I'm not British. Mushoku Tensei is the only series I've seen do a harem right. Yes! And I will tell you why. Okay, I will tell you why. Okay, on behalf of Mushoku Tensei and its harem. So first and foremost, with most isekai or most harem anime, the guy kind of walks in and is like, "Hi ladies, can I touch your tits?" And half of them are kind of down with it, and the other half are like, "No, baka!" But are also actually down with it. Alright? Yeah, the girls actually have personality in Mushoku Tensei, and for the most part, they all fucking hate him when they first meet him because he's a piece of shit. Rudius is a piece of shit up until, like, 2 seasons in. I would say his last piece of shit action is probably, like, when he gets super drunk and talks about that girl that made fun of his erectile dysfunction with the one guy. When he's, like, traveling with that other party and the blonde girl, I forget his name. But the blonde girl and him, they, like, almost hook up, but she's like, "Yo, why is your dick not working?" And he gets, like, super embarrassed about it, so he gets, yeah, Sarah. He gets super drunk with that one other guy that he hated for a while. but then, like, you know, the girl goes to apologize, Sarah goes to apologize, and he is stupid and drunk and is like, oh, that stupid bitch, she was flat, she had no titties. And yeah, so that happens. I would say that's his last, like, kind of dick move. But I can kind of give him a pass on that one too, even. Like, he's super drunk and she did kind of laugh at his ED. So, I'd say they both deserved what they got. Also, he immediately tried to knife himself after that. So, I've gone on record to state that there are a few pieces of animation in anime that I really like. And I always forget about this one in Mushoku Tensei. Yes, so when he basically realized, like, Sarah's like, I never want to see you again, you're a fucking piece of shit, how could you say that? Like, yeah, she walks away, and, like, he picks up a knife and literally almost, like, just straight up slits his throat in the middle of the street, and Soldet stops him, and it is such smooth animation. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I replayed it like 3 times, because I was like, oh damn. Like, same with Kaoru getting his head blown up in Evangelion Thrice Upon a Time. Like, it's just good, clean animation that really shows what a character is feeling. And that is animation I can appreciate. Also, if you've been watching Kaiju number 8, the scene where Hoshina's suit zips up, that's another piece of my favorite animation. I am a fan of smooth animation. What can I say? Smooth animation, man. Smooth animation. At least he has honor. He does. So, is Kaiju number 8 a good anime? Yes, yes, yes. So, on behalf of Mushoku Tensei, let us describe the journey. And why I think that the wives and just everything that Mushoku Tensei sets up are properly paid off. And I don't think, even though, like, yes, it is very much, it has its fantasy, harem, ecchi shit in it, I have one big thing to really state. And this is why I really appreciate the transition from book, like, to anime. Because it's very similar, like, between book and movie when things change. So you have a choice as a director. You have a choice of POV. You know, obviously, the switch between things being in book format to movie format is usually going to be the vehicle of which you perceive the story. So, like, for example, Sherlock Holmes, right? It is told by Watson. Watson is observing Sherlock, and that is how the stories are being told. But when you then switch over to any sort of media, obviously, what is his name? I just forgot it in my head again. Watson. God, I always want to call him Holmes, even though I know he's not Holmes, but it's because, like, it's Sherlock Holmes, but yeah. So anyways, Watson is his own character, because you are then viewing it from an outside third perspective, as if there is another narrator, even though you do know from the books that it is Watson that you are perceiving the story as. Now, I don't really know what, like, if Mushoku Tensei is written in first or third person. It doesn't really matter much, because my only point to make is, if you actually pay attention in Mushoku Tensei, the only time that women are, like, actively sexualized, like, you either see panties or, like, something sus is happening, is when Rudius is looking at them. If you watch scenes with women in it while Rudius is not around, they are very, very rarely ever shown in a manner that is sexual. And I raise you that the reason why is because Rudius, his point of view is what we are viewing the story from. He is the one that is looking for the lewdness, looking for the panty shots. And so, okay, so it is written in first person with a lot of side character, but most of those POVs are cut from the anime. See, there you go. Sorry, 1 second. My allergies, as you know. Her ass. So there's the proof right there. First of all, it is written in a first-person perspective, which means we are viewing the story through Rudius's perspective, which means, yeah, no shit, everything that moves, he's gonna wanna fuck. Alright? And yeah, there are, like, other characters that have similar point of views that may be perverted and whatnot, but I'm specifically speaking about Rudius. The switch from the book to the anime, I think it was very good on the director to make sure that women were not really actively sexualized unless Rudius's gaze was on them. It is the Rudius gaze. So I'm serious. Go back through Mushoku Tensei. It's really worth it. I very much enjoyed rewatching it because, like, man, watching him, like, be a babby again to now literally having a babby on the way. Like, oh my god. I feel like a mother. It's wild. I feel like I watched my child grow up, like, in an instant. It's wild. I don't know how it makes me feel. I'm going to definitely cry my eyes out when this series ends. Like, technically the light novel is over, but when the anime is over, I'm actually going to hold a funeral. Like, when Rudius dies, I'm going to hold a funeral. Like, I clicked expecting getting random anime ramble. Instead, I get an incredible anime analysis. Thank you. See, I've actually put a lot of thought into this. So, I won't stray too far. I'll keep it logistics. I'll keep it logistical. Does he die? I don't know if he dies. Did I watch the Father's Day episode? Yes. Yes. So, first and foremost, things that impressed me about Mushoku Tensei. First and foremost, switch from the POV where everything is Rudius, basically. Anything uwu sus is all Rudius. It's all Rudius. Because women are actually treated with a lot more respect when he's not around. Alright? Secondly, it is definitely difficult to get into Mushoku Tensei when the first thing you are presented with is a character that is kicked out of his house for skipping his parents' funeral to watch Lolicon. Kinda hard to root for that guy. Kinda hard to root for that guy. Really hard to root for the 30-something, shut-in, ugly bastard Hikikomori Neat that watches Lolicon and gets kicked out because he chose to watch that over going to his own parents' funeral. That is the Rudius that we start with. Alright? And the Rudius we end with is someone that literally, like, considers how to be a good man so often, I'm like, fuck. Goals? Like, one could say arguably, oh, but a man like Rudius, you wouldn't actually want him. He's, like, disgusting. You're right. I wouldn't want who Rudius was. But do I like the man that Rudius has become? Yes. Because here is another analysis. On behalf of the author and the way that Mushoku Tensei writes its story, you would think, right, to yourself, if you lived a long, wild life, you know, maybe you had some regrets, yada, 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 but, you know, you wake up in another world, a new chance, and you remember that you can do better now. Most of you would think, well, of course, from day one, I would try my best to be a better person. But Mushoku Tensei begs the question, what if you were such a fucking disgusting lowlife of a human being with so much trauma that there was literally no way, even if you were reincarnated into another world, you could change? And Mushoku Tensei begs the question, but could you? And so, I think it is very proper that for the first half of Rudius's life, he is the same person that he was as a human in our world. Alright? I think it would have been just really non-satisfactory if he had been if we had gotten his backstory or we had gotten bits of it, and he just acted like a completely different person. Is it disgusting that he fantasizes about his own mom's breasts? Yes. Is it disgusting that he wears panties on his head? Yes. Is it disgusting that he listens to his parents bang in the other room? Yes. But does it make sense? Also, yes. It makes complete and utter sense that Rudius is doing all of these things because he's not going to change. He's not going to change. All right? But the thing is if you actually, like, hang on to the story, right? You hang on to the story, I can guarantee you, a lot of that stops when he realizes that he has to cut that shit. That there is A, a lot more to life, and B, that him fucking around is actively going to get himself and someone that he has sworn to protect killed, or hurt, or taken. Alright? Rudius very much begins to change as a character after meeting Eris. And the reason why is because, I beg to say, he gets what he thinks he wants, which is a tsundere. He gets a amazing tsundere lolly, and in his head he's like, oh fuck yeah, you know? And what happens to him? What does Rudius figure out from this tsundere child that's actually technically older than him, but not older than him? It's confusing, but what does he learn in his first encounter with Eris? Tsunderes are fucking bitches. Okay? All of the anime tsunderes that you think that you know, fucking not real at all. A girl that hates you but also loves you? No. You're fucking disillusioned. And Rudius finds this out because he very quickly goes, oh my god, this girl is a bitch! She is not my tsundere waifu. She is an asshole! Because she's a spoiled fucking brat that thinks beating people up, physically abusing people is okay. That yelling at them, physically abusing them, and just like being an actual fucking twat is okay. Granted, she is also like 15 years old, but still, the point remains is that she is an immature, spoiled brat, and Rudius gets his first true taste of reality there. Because he's like, oh, so people have, like, different, like, traits that aren't actually, like, cool. Okay. She was 9. Was she 9 when they met? I don't know when they met. I mean, Eris in my head now is 15, but that's because I think that's how old she is, like, during his birthday or something? Yeah, she's 2 or 3 years older. Yeah, she clocked him good. She clocked him good. And granted, I don't even really remember if he deserved it. She was 15 when she left? Oh, okay, so she was 15 after the Demon Continent arc. Gotcha. Okay, so she was 15 at the end of season 1. So when they met, she was still like, oh yeah, because we got Eris's birthday party when she turned 10. Yeah, I forgot that he was literally 5 years old. He was 5 and she was 9. So when they met, you know, obviously he's 40 in his head, not actually 5 years old. So she's a spoiled fucking 9-year-old, and he thinks, oh, ooh woo, tsundere lolly, and then gets his shit fucking kicked in. Because she's a bratty, spoiled 9-year-old. Not ooh woo, tsundere lolly. You know? So Mushoku Tensei does a very good job of very quickly making Rudius and you realize, oh, he was 7? Okay. It makes you very quickly realize, oh, so they're going to present characters in a way that is actually kind of realistic to some extent. So there is a reason Mushoku Tensei is also known as the grandfather of isekai, because a lot of the tropes that you'll find in Mushoku Tensei get overblown out in isekai that is to come. But the thing is, Mushoku Tensei does what most isekai do not do, is actually give a reason for these things, like, existing, or at least trying to give them lore. Like, yeah, are there cat girls in this world? Yes. In every other anime, they are cat girls, and maybe they have a cat girl village. But in Mushoku Tensei, they have an entire writing system and lore and gods that they worship. There's so much more to it. There is so much more. The grandfather? Well, it's considered the grandfather of a lot of isekai tropes. Mushoku Tensei, like, getting popular is kind of what really helped start up the isekai craze. Yeah, it was, yeah, basically. That's pretty much exactly what it is. Mushoku Tensei did them so well that they became tropes in other isekai, but were not really written sometimes as well. Alright? So, yeah, those are my main points is like, yeah, so if you really give Mushoku Tensei a chance, like, watching the anime now, I honestly would not even guess that these are the same anime. Like, I would say starting out, Mushoku Tensei felt very much like every other fucking isekai I've ever seen. Just shitty fucking, like, perverted protagonist. And now I am rooting for this fucking man. And crying for his family. And hoping that, like, he just gets the life he now actually legitimately deserves. Because what Rudius does, okay, after, like being around, 10 years old, basically, is he transforms so much. Rudius changes when the Demon Continent arc starts. And he already starts to change a bit when Eris comes into the picture, because, again, his tropes in his head get destroyed, unfortunately. But when the Demon Continent arc happens, you have to realize when Rudius arrives, first of all, who the fuck knows where they are? He sure doesn't. The last thing he experiences is a giant, terrifying mana storm that teleports him away. He has no idea where he is, and the first thing that happens when he wakes up is he sees what, in his mind, is the monster that his magic teacher, Roxy, told him to be scared of. The Spurg. Alright? A green-haired demon with a red gem in their forehead carrying a weapon. He's fucking scared shitless. He is a 9-year-old with very little training on a demon continent, and to his knowledge, right when he wakes up, next to a demon that could eat him in a second. That's gotta really do something to you in a fraction of a second. I'ma just say, I think in that moment he shaped up just a little bit. That was the first time my guy's balls dropped. Alright? Now, luckily, Rudyard is not a terrifying, terrifying man, but, still, who's to say they can trust him? So for a good little bit, he is traveling with a demon that he doesn't exactly trust, trying to keep control and care of this little girl. Alright? Which is, like, not great. Yeah, and he also meets the man god. That is a big change, too, as he starts to realize that maybe he has a bit more in place in this world, He has a bit more to him than just being some random kid. He ain't just some random boy. So, the Demon Continent arc starts, and obviously he has to try his best to just stay alive, figure stuff out. All he desperately wants to do is get back to his family and get Eris back and get his life back and get back to Sylphie, just like he did before he left. But what happens? What is the first thing that happens after his long journey is finally over? He walks in to see his dad. And he's so happy to see him. He tells him all of his adventures and all of the hopes that and prayers that he made. And what is he met with? He is met with a father that just screams at him and begs him and asks him why. Why were you just fucking around all this time while I've been desperately searching for your family? I've been desperately searching for your mom. She's trapped, and your not your daughters, your sisters don't know what's going on, and I don't know what's going on. And Rudius is like, wait a second. What do you mean? I'm fucking traumatized. I watched people die. I watched people get eaten and die. I was locked in a cage and I thought I was going to be like, my head was gonna get chopped off just because I tried to save some kids. Like, what do you mean, Dad? And then he realizes he didn't want to tell his dad all of the big scary things because he didn't want his dad to feel like he wasn't okay. Rudius even thinks to himself and tells himself that the reason he didn't say to his dad all of this shitty shit is because it scared him. He doesn't want to relive that. For him, he's a fucking 10-year-old, 15-year-old at that point that finally reunited with his dad after being scarily teleported away, and all he wants to do is be like, Dad, I'm alive, I'm okay, and I'm glad you're alive, and I'm glad Eris is alive, and I tried so hard, and it was so scary, and I just want to see Mom. But Mom's not around. A lot of people aren't around. And yeah, Rudius also realizes this, but he wasn't just fucking around in the demon continent. They tried so many times to get off of that place, to get out of that place, but they couldn't. It was difficult while also being able to bring Rudyard along. But, you know, they needed him as a protector, and Rudius found it within himself to also want to clear his name, to give back to the man that was risking their lives to help him get off of this continent and return to his family. Because Rudius, all he wanted to do was keep Eris safe and get back home. And you could think, oh, well, Rudius just wanted to go back to Sylphie. That's why he wanted to return Eris. But, like, do you not think he didn't miss his parents at all? Of course he missed his parents. Of course he missed his dad. Like, that's, again, the reason why he just greets him with a smile and tries to be strong. Tries to be the tough boy that his dad raised. But, you know, his dad doesn't see it that way. And they fight. And they do make up in the end, but it definitely puts a strain on their relationship, which is very obvious as they split ways again. And they don't see each other again for quite some time. Because the magic school arc where Rudius finally, like, saves his mom and stuff, that's 10, 15 years later. Like, for Rudius, he has not seen his mother in 15 years. And he actually, like, says something about that and makes a point about it. He hasn't seen his mom in 10, 15 years. And he's like, to me, she's kind of just a lady I lived with. I genuinely don't remember her. And something interesting that Mushoku Tensei also brings up is how Rudius is starting to become more Rudius and less who he was before. He is actively forgetting memories from his old life and just becoming who he was in this life. And yeah, obviously there are traumas to hold him back and knowledge that he has obtained that can help him, but they are definitely blurring those lines. The line between who he was and who he has become is getting more and more blurred with time. So to Rudius, yeah, that is just his mom that he hasn't seen in a long time. He, like, misses her, yeah, but how can he miss someone that he doesn't really know? And his dad, the emotions that he has towards his dad and his sisters is only so strong because of his own personal trauma. Rudius's bond to his sisters is very strong because of the bond he had to his brother. And that meant obviously a fuck ton lot more to him than his parents, considering, again, he didn't go to his own parents' funeral when he was, like, in the old world. So it makes a lot of sense that his connection to his parents still is not that strong being brought over. And the only reason he has somewhat of a stronger connection to his dad is because he actively tried. He actively wanted to have a better family. He tried to have a better family when he was growing up. He realized he had a chance and a father that actually, like, wanted to play ball with him. Like, yeah, he was upset at his dad for, like, you know, shipping him off and shit, but he still had a better relationship with Paul and more of a connection with Paul than, no, I don't like downloading ads. Thank you, sorry. Anyways, point is that he had definitely a stronger relationship with Paul, but the one with his mother, I can understand why it just isn't heavy for him. I can understand why. The funny part is if you go to therapy for stuff, one of the first things they ask is all the shitty stuff. Exactly. Exactly. I appreciate how the story runs long enough for hints laid down in early parts of the show to actually pay out. Yeah. Literally, yeah. Literally, yeah. A clear example of how Nanahoshi is used as a contrast has Rudius's distance. Yes! So, speaking of Nanahoshi, I think that dynamic that Mushoku Tensei has presented, the fact that there is someone who has been actively reincarnated, but also someone who has just straight up been isekai'd, like a normal person would be, I guess? I think it's very interesting that we have those two differences. And Nanahoshi is very much against affecting the world, talking to people, all of it. She does not want this world to infect her. She wants to get back home. Whereas Rudius, well, his old body is probably 6 feet under. He does not care. There's no going back for him. And I think that in itself is also what really is the vehicle for his change. I think if Mushoku Tensei was a regular isekai where you just get teleported, there is no incentive to really be a different person in that world unless you are presented with a character that obviously, of course, does not want to return. You know? Which I think most isekai kind of do play out that way, where the main character doesn't really want to go back anyways. But there is always the question, what happens if they go back? Could it happen? And that is, you know, there's been stories that also talk about that. That is the story of the uncle from another world. It's really fucking funny, you know? Like, yeah, and in the old school isekais, the MC always wants to go back home. Exactly. So it's like, I think it's very, very interesting and a good vehicle for the narrative that Rudius is reborn. Like, there is no body to go back. This show can only be dethroned by No Game No Life Season 2. No. And I've seen No Game No Life. I don't agree with that. I'm sorry. I don't. You hope things get resolved well with Eris? Don't worry, they do. They definitely do. In modern isekai, the MC gets wish fulfilled with powers, harem, etc. Yeah. Was a joke. There'll never be a season 2. True. That, I guess that is the joke, huh? The movie is good. I never saw the movie. I was kind of like, oh wow, there's a movie out. That's crazy. That's wild. Ugh. But Mushoku Tensei as a story to me means so much because I guess because the trauma Rudius has, I can go #relate, you know? I cried during the more recent episodes, and not because of, well, I cried because of the obvious stuff that's happened, but one of the big things that, like, there are two things that have happened in Mushoku Tensei that really have stuck with me and will always, like, just, like, weigh on my mind as the story progresses. The first is when Rudius was really drunk and he took out all of his anger on that one guy in the bar, and he was just punching him and crying and screaming that he's trying his fucking best. He's scared of people not liking him because he will be alone. And not Paul, the other guy. Rudius tends to beat people up. He likes to punch his feelings into other people. It starts with an S. Stalin? Whoa. Not that name. Soldot, there we go. Soldot. I was thinking maybe it was Staldot, but then I accidentally just cut off on a completely wrong name. Let's move past that. But anyways, point of the matter is that he beats the shit out of this guy and is like, I'm trying my fucking best. I'm trying my best. I can't tell people how I really feel or they'll hate me. Okay? I can't do anything. I'm just a fucking kid. You know? And he's fucking terrified. That moment always really just, I hold on to that moment and it speaks to me because, I don't know, I get that feeling of just always having to, like, put on a smile, act like, oh, I don't care about that, that's fine, you know? Just say what people want to hear, just so people like you, just so you're not alone, and so people don't leave you. And so it's like, that just speaks to me. I was like, I feel that little man. I feel that little man. And Soldat does turn into a big bro, man. He's a super bro. Alright? He literally tries to help him with his ED. Like, yes. Alright? Not in like a gay way. Like, he takes him to a brothel. Do I want to punch out some of my feelings? Why do you think the fish cam happened? If you think that anything that happened with those fish was not mental illness. Anyways. I can admit what's a mentally ill stream. You think I don't plan that? You think I don't think to myself, this is mentally ill, let's do it. It's my brand. But the other, like, moment that really sticks out to me, I would say, in Mushoku Tensei, is when, in the more recent episodes, when Rudius and his father reunite, and Rudius, like, is in front of him, obviously more grown up, and says, I got a wife, I got a kid, and his dad is just like, and just falls to his knees and hugs him and just is like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I was such a shitty dad. Like, the last time you see Rudius's father, he's saying that Rudius is the shitty one and that I get that they can agree to disagree, you know? But when you see him again, his dad is just like, I'm a failure. I had to call on my son who's expecting a child on the way and just got married, and that I already had to ask to take care of my daughters. Like, I'm a failure. And so he just hugs him and he's on his knees and he just hugs him and he's just like, I'm so sorry. You're you are so strong. I am so proud of you. You know? Like, I thank you for coming to help save your mother. That I couldn't do it on my own. I'm sorry. And Rudius just says, when my father and I were younger, he used to be so big and so grand in my life. But now, he's just so small. And like, oh, that shit hit. Like, it hit. I was like Mushoku Tensei, if you have daddy issues, Mushoku Tensei really just makes you sit there and go, you know? Like, we're not gonna get into my daddy issues, but I am a tomboy VTuber, so if that didn't fucking say anything about me, you know? Like, it's also an excellent example of how people can be amazing without knowing it. Yeah, like, Rudius is just, he becomes a good, amazing person by just being there and trying his best. Like, he, like, that's just all he does. From the second he realizes that if he actually tries his best, things in his life might go the way that he wants them to, things start to work out, and he just continues to try his best and be a good man. And so, that's why I think the Rudius that exists currently in the anime Mushoku Tensei and probably later on Rudius, quite the man, good man, you know? Maybe there are some things I disagree with him, but he has come a long, long way. And that is what Mushoku Tensei really is as an anime. It is the question, what possible, like, saving salvation of a total fucking degenerate could there be if A, the people in his new life actually give him a chance, and B, he gives himself a chance to change. Because the reason why Sylphie-ette means so much to him, the reason why Rudius marries Sylphie-ette is because she fixes his abandonment issues. She will not abandon him. She heals that part of him. That fear of being abandoned that Eris only fucking, like, nails harder into him, unfortunately. Right? Like, that's why he gets erectile dysfunction. Because he's so fucking, like, sad and upset and fucked up over being abandoned by the one person he thought maybe finally just wanted to be with him and love him. Like, it isn't just the fact that, oh, the first girl that I fucked left. It's the first person that, like, actually he felt kind of understood him. And that he understood her. And that they were close. Because remember that they wind up, you know, wink-wonking after Eris, like, helps him talk to his dad. And, like, because they talk about it, you know? And she, like, helps him sort through those feelings. That is why Eris is important to him. Not just because, like, he lost his virginity to her. She was important because he was, like, she was the first one that he thought would be there for him no matter what. And then she fucking left the day after he thought that. That's really fucked. Like, yeah. I mean, Eris did miscommunicate her intentions, but I feel like, oh, you mean about her leaving? Oh, 100%, 100%. Eris did not communicate her reasons for leaving at all. Eris's reasons for leaving was because she wanted to be stronger so Rudius would never have to feel like he had to protect her again. That's why Eris wants to be the ultimate husband. You know, which, spoiler, she does. She becomes Rudius's husband. And I mean it like that. Trust me, it's a big joke in the novels. Rudius straight up calls Eris his husband. Because that is not his wife. Nope, he's the wife. He's the wife in that situation. And last but not least, Roxy. Roxy is his goddess. And most people might think, oh, Roxy is his goddess because she's, like, also a kind of perverted, literal demon lolly because she looks young, but she's much older, and she also gets off to his parents getting off. But that is, again, not the reason. Does it help with why Rudius really likes Roxy? Yes. But why does Rudius literally worship Roxy? Because she was the first one who showed him that he could change. That things could be different. Exactly. To those who think that, like, she didn't help him at all with his trauma, that is actually insane. If anything, Roxy is the one that starts his entire journey. He is afraid to go and leave his house. And she is the first one to show him that it is okay. You know? And yeah, Roxy also changed a lot too. It is basically, it is implied, but I think also at some point explicitly, like, said that, yes, while Roxy might have lived for 40 years, she still has the mind, like, of someone who is 20-something. Like, her body and mind actually age pretty much the same. Because it is mentioned that when she was in the other group, she was very immature. She was immature before, and now when you see her again, Roxy is much more mature. Because, well, 15 years has passed. Roxy changed Rudy, Rudy changed Roxy. Roxy was full of herself for being an amazing magician, and then Rudius, a fucking 5-year-old, proved that he would one day be stronger than her. And that is what started her change. She realized that she still had work to do on herself in many different areas, including her magic that she was so confident in. Roxy could ignore the deficits in her personality because she was strong. Because, think about it this way, when you're in a party with someone, if you fucking hate them, but you know that their magic is the only thing that'll save you, you're probably gonna deal with them. So imagine all the people that kind of found Roxy childish and annoying, but needed her because she was a strong mage. So Roxy was able to, quote-unquote, get along with people because she was strong, but not because she knew how to talk to them. Kind of like Rudius. Rudius also suffers with the same thing. He is kind of a fucking jackass, but he is strong. So it gives him an excuse to be a jackass. But Roxy realizing that, you know, she can get stronger and there is a reason to get stronger also made her realize that there is more to life than just being strong. Because, I mean, she also watched how Rudius was kind of a bit of a asshole and weird. So maybe she saw that within herself and was like, fuck, he's gonna be like me and I don't like this. He is full of himself already because he's a strong 9-year-old with God-class powers. You know? So, like, it sets them both on quite the journey. Lots of deeper character development makes me want to watch more. Yeah, no. Mushoku Tensei has so much character development to Rudius, it is not even funny. It has serious character development and, like, comedic character development that could still be taken and perceived as funny. So, like, for example, I think it goes a lot to show that Rudius has changed and, like, how he understands loving someone and how he now perceives, like, being with someone and the desperations of his situation, where during the erectile dysfunction arc, where he thought that Sylphiette was a boy, we get a good few episodes where Rudius is just like, I might be gay. And you know what? I think that's okay. Rudius straight up was like, my dick doesn't work. Maybe it's because I'm gay. I guess if I'm gay for this one specific elf twink, that, like, for some reason I really just vibe with, almost like we've been friends forever, like, I guess I'm gay then. And obviously, like, it does turn out to be Sylphie, turns out to be a woman, but he accepted, like, that maybe he was just a homosexual. And, like, honestly, that is also a testament to his character development. Rudius just kind of being like, you know what? Maybe the love that you get from someone and the way that you feel is more important than what other people think. So Rudius right there just straight up says #ally because he isn't concerned over the fact that, like, he might be into a dude. He's more like, will this fix my dick? Like, he isn't like, oh man, I'm gay. He's like, oh man, will my dick work, baby, finally? Yeah. He went to confirm it. Yeah. Like, he was like, hey, principal, is this for real a guy? And the principal's like, yeah. And he's like, fuck, I'm gay. Happy Pride Month, Rudius. Honestly, I would say Rudius is bisexual. He just hasn't really needed the opportunity because 3 amazing women came into his life. He's a little concerned. He's a little, and concerned. Happy birthday! Hi! Hi. If Sylphiette's not a girl, I mean, I don't think Sylphiette would be the top. I think Rudius was ready to top that. I think Rudius was ready to top that and tap that ass. I'm not even gonna lie. He was so ready. And then obviously, like, oh, it is such a funny scene, obviously, when he finally figures out that, well, not that she's Sylphiette yet, but that she is a girl. It's just because he's like, wait a minute, why am I the only one that has a boner right now? Basically! He literally is like, I guess if I'm gay, I'm gay. And then he accidentally falls on her and they're like squished up against each other. He's like, wait, why am I the only one with a boner right now? That's because you don't have a boner. And then he's like, wait a minute. It's because you have a coochie. It's a very, very funny scene. He's literally just like, why am I the only one that's gay right now? Wait, is it because we're straight? It's a great scene. Definitely watch Mushoku Tensei. This is my last big pitch. Watch Mushoku Tensei if you feel like you're a piece of shit and you want to figure out how to be better. And I'll just tell you now, the lesson that Rudius learns is stop treating people like shit. Quite simple, actually. Mushoku had the best Father's Day celebration. We're not gonna talk about Mushoku Tensei's Father's Day celebration, alright? All I'm gonna say is whether you love or you hate your dad, I guess you'll probably cry or laugh during Mushoku Tensei's fucking Father's Day episode. He doesn't feel any kind of way about Alina Lee's, so it's not just any hot women's. Exactly, it's not just any hot women's. It's not just any hot women's. But nah, I feel that, Rudius. I feel that. Oh, my ping didn't come through. Oh, wait, I got pinged. Oh, wait, I gotta... So, oh, shit, it's 11:15. It's 11:25. I thought, oops. So I'm going a little bit over time here. I got it set up for the collab that's happening at noon. I didn't forget about it. I just forgot that, we had to meet up an hour beforehand. So, I will be closing out here, but... Does Rudius form a close relationship with Mom? I don't know, but I'm very excited to see in the new episodes. Because, also, his poor fucking mom, man? Like, what happened? I guess we're gonna figure it out, but... yeah. Watch Mushoku Tensei! If you actually want to watch an isekai anime that is done well, you don't mind ecchi fan service, but but you're not there just for it. Because if you're there just for the fan service, you'll be disappointed after a season and a half. All right? But yeah, start for the fan service, stay for the plot. Have a good one! I am going to... I guess I can raid in my own waiting room. Do I even want to stream my perspective? I'm not going to stream my perspective today. Just because I don't want YouTube to bonk me and be angry that I streamed twice. So I am going to instead send you guys to one of the other girls' waiting rooms. Alina Lees is carrying the fan service. Yeah, which I don't mind. I don't mind that at all. All right, let's get you guys a-going. Let's see who to send you guys to. Who has their fucking waiting room up? You know what? Amora's the one that put this all together, so I'm gonna send you guys to Amora. She is the one who set all of this up, so we're gonna go give a big love and a big thanks to Princess Amora Lumina and say thank you. The raid message is thank you for planning this. Please don't bully Blaze. You guys are gonna see Amora gets so toxic whenever she plays games with me. Like whenever we're in a group setting, Amora gets so toxic, specifically at me. It's amazing. I love her. So get ready for Toxic Amora! Toxic Princess time! We're both gonna be toxic princesses. So I'll see every newbie there! Bye!